could not throw the ball in the ocean. All right, let's get to Monte Poole. Monte Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area Warriors analyst. He's on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Monte, thanks for the time. It is very much appreciated, sir. Let's start with Andrew Wiggins. He could be an X factor in this series. I think if he plays, he will be. But what are reasonable expectations for him, Monte, from your point of view, since he has sat for so long?
Yeah, I think he will be in the starting lineup. But initially, he will be there'll be a minutes restriction. My guess is that it'll be somewhere between 20, 24 minutes maybe, and he'll ramp his way up as the series goes on. And maybe, at some point get to the 30s. But, the long absence is a factor, and so there's no way you can have him come back and play 35 minutes his first game back. So, but I do think he will start. There's been some question about that, but I still believe that he will be in the starting lineup.
With this Warriors team, they haven't looked like the Golden State Warriors at times this season. They close out strong, winning 8 of 10, 4 of their last 5. Do you think their struggles in the regular season were legitimate struggles, or do you think this was a team that didn't necessarily put as much into the regular season as maybe other teams around the NBA did because of a championship run, a long season, a lot of miles on those legs?
No, I think it's a legitimate struggle. You go on the road, and there are a lot of games that you're supposed to win pretty easily, and you don't. This is a team that got swept by the Orlando Magic and the Detroit Pistons. So you look at those two teams and how do you get swept by those two teams? Because you didn't defend that well at home to win. You didn't defend well enough on the road to win. So you look at what the Warriors are trying to do in terms of the veteran core, Curry, Clay, Draymond, Looney. And then you look at the other guys, younger guys, and it's just a different cast of characters than they had last year. And to me, the biggest factor is that the guys they had last year coming off the bench were mostly guys who've been around for a while, veteran guys. Guys like Damian Lee and Juan Toscano-Anderson, Gary Payton II. Those guys, even Otto Porter Jr. and Nemanja Bjelica, all 5 of those guys had one thing in common. They were either trying to prove they belong in the NBA, or they're trying to prove they still belong in the NBA, because none of those 5 guys came in with with a big contract or with a lot of belief. It was always Otto came to try and save his career, and same thing with Belly. And the other 3 guys are guys that travel around the world basically looking for a job, landed with the Warriors, and so there's a different mentality with that group than with the guys who come in as lottery picks. I'm not going to say they're all entitled or anything, but coming in when you've had to fight your way to get into the NBA and now you're 28 years old, as opposed to coming in as a 19-year-old, it's a different mentality the way you approach games. And for the young guys, I don't know that they have the same grit, that every game might be the last mentality. And it shows in some of the 50-50 balls and some of the other things you see over the course of a season. So they've gotten better, but still, that's something that this team has missed much of the year, is that grit, that fortitude that says, I'm going to make sure this game, I'm going to give everything I have to this game.
Monte Poole is with us here, Cattles and Rami, Sactown Sports. Monte, they finished the regular season, the Warriors did, at 8-2. Did you see any kind of flipping of the switch from them at all during that late run?
Yes and no. I thought I saw more of a sense of urgency. But they played at the last 10 games the way they played at home for most of the season, which is to say there were a lot of games at home that they would fall behind and they would come back in the second half by playing defense. They wouldn't defend in the first half. In the second half, they'd be, okay, let's play defense now. And they'd come back and win. I think they had 11 comebacks from double-digit deficits at home, all at home. So they kind of wrote that script and kind of used that to sort of give them something down the stretch, and it worked out for them. And it doesn't hurt, when you have the vets who, I think the veterans, they do understand that as you get to March and then toward April, the games matter a whole lot more. And I think they find another level too.
Do you think the deeper this series goes because of the younger, fresher legs of the Kings, the more it favors them? And add in what the Warriors have done on the road this season, and obviously a home court advantage comes back to Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends for the Warriors. It depends on how they start the series. First 2 games are at Golden 1, and if the Warriors split, I think that's a victory for them because I think the Kings will have a hard time winning in San Francisco. But if the Warriors go up there and lose 2, that changes everything. Doesn't mean they can't win the series, but it does mean that their backs are, against the wall, as they say. So you're then going to ask them to win 4 out of 5 to take the series. And I don't know that this team has it in them. I believe they'll win the series because they're experienced. Last year, I had some questions as they entered the postseason because they were basically a 500 team from January to April last season. But once the postseason started, I wouldn't call it flipping a switch. It was more a matter of you saw the guys' level of focus go up, the level of concentration go up. There was a look about them in the postseason that said, this is our territory. We know the postseason. You guys are trying to learn the postseason. And that applied to Denver, that applied to Memphis, and even Boston to a lesser degree because the Celtics have been in the postseason quite a bit. But I think the Warriors were helped by the fact that Boston came out of that series with Milwaukee. That was a dogfight series.
Yeah.
and that was tough. So, but yeah, the Warriors look at the postseason as like, okay, this is our turf. We know this. You guys are trying to figure out how to learn it. We already know it. So I think that gives them an edge. In most series they will play, I don't think there'll be enough necessarily to win a championship this year to repeat, but I think it'll help them out certainly in the first round.
Monte, we appreciate your time, man, throughout this series. Let's do this again soon. Always good to catch up. Thank you.
All right, take it easy now.
There goes Monte Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area Warriors analyst. Folsom Lake Honda Hotline is where he was at. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Yeah, I mean, when you